Well, it's me, Coach Rosa. You're back. I'm so happy you're tuning in still. This shows me that you are dedicated, that you are on track, that you are going to lose this weight, and you're committed. Kudos to you, because this isn't easy, right? This is work, and this requires effort, and you're taking that effort. And I know how much work it is. I've been there. I've seen a lot of people do it. I know what it feels like. Just like sit there and say to yourself, why am I doing this? What, am I going to gain it all again? Is this just going to be for nothing? I know what that feels like. But let me tell you, there is a moment in your life where you make a decision and you say, this is it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to let go of this weight. I'm going to keep it off. I'm going to change my lifestyle. This is about a lifestyle, not just a one-time event. And you are proving that you're on track. So let's get started. So here's what I want you to know about today, because I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. Is you are going to be so successful at this because you're going to understand the underlying dynamic that's occurring here. Now, you've properly combined your foods, you understand to do that. There's a lot of different formulas you can use, right? One of the easy ones is like 2 grams of protein for 1 gram of carb. You know, it's a real easy formula. Every time you're eating food, you look at that chart, and if you're going to have, 10 grams of carbs, you're having 20 grams of protein or something like that. Now, that's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to work. It's going to work really easy for you, and you'll start to let go of the weight. But what I want you to know is why this is working. Why this is working is because your body takes the sugar from that carbohydrate, right? Takes those carbohydrates and it stores it in the body, in the muscles, right? It's stored in our muscles and in our body for fuel. And we need a certain amount of energy to operate every day. So if you're eating a traditional diet of oatmeal in the morning, and you're having toast, and you're having a sandwich, and you're having a wrap, you're probably having 80, 90, 100 grams of carbohydrates in one day, right? Easy. I mean, I have clients who have 200 grams of carbs a day when I look at their food plan. It's a day. No wonder they're not losing weight. Because here's the dynamic that's occurring. And this is where thermogenesis comes in. That this concept, this theory around it, is when you store that much energy in your body and you don't expend it, this is the key, it's got to go somewhere. Energy just can't sit there forever. Energy has to be converted, right? So if you, and this is why as a vegetarian, I was 30 pounds heavier. Because I'd eat oatmeal for breakfast with bananas and some nuts and a little bit of honey. All good stuff. But in my breakfast alone, I was probably having 60 grams of carbs. Then for lunch, I'd have pasta. And I love pasta, right? And I'd have it with broccoli and marinara. So it's healthy stuff. But there's another 80 grams of carbohydrates. And then for dinner, I might have, a wrap with some rice and beans and veggies, or just even a stir fry, another 60 grams of carbohydrates. So, and popcorn would be my go-to snack every night. At the end of the day, easily 150 grams of carbs without even knowing it. All healthy things. None of this was it was air popped popcorn. It wasn't even oil. And so what's happening is the body takes all those carbohydrates and it converts it to sugar, glucose. It gets stored in the body for fuel. And the expectation is that we're going to burn that fuel. We're going to go for a jog. What we do now is we get up, and especially, I'm recording this during the pandemic, right? This is my project I've been wanting to do for a long time. And so my activity is get up from my bedroom down the hall, go down the stairs to my home office and sit there. And then I come up here into my workout room where it's quiet for me to record, and my steps are minimal. Now, when I was working in a traditional office building, I'd get 6,000 steps in by the end of the day because I would be all over the building. So you can't have the same amount of carbohydrates when you're just walking up and down a flight of stairs 3 times a day versus when you're jogging or you're doing some high impact activity. Now for runners, for my workout people, and I'm a workout person, I'm a high hit interval training kind of person. I love that. Yeah, you can get away with a lot more carbs. But if that's not your lifestyle, and most of my clients, it's not. Most of my clients, they're working moms who are taking care of everybody except themselves. They're the last on the list. They don't make time for exercise because they just don't have the time. And I'm here to help them create the time. But what I do know is even if you don't exercise a lot, you can lose a lot of weight on this program because you understand how this dynamic works. You can't have 100 grams of carbs in your diet and be sedentary. That's a diet for a runner, a person who's high energy, who's burning those carbohydrates. So we have to modify this. And what we do is we're converting our body from a sugar burning machine, a carb burning machine, into a fat burning machine. That's what we're doing. Quite literally, that's what we're doing. So when you drop those carbs and you start having like a 2-to-1 ratio, the 2 grams of protein, 1 gram of carbs kind of ratio, you now are giving your body time to burn through the extra fuel in the body. Now, let me explain the other piece of this, really important piece. And that is, if you don't burn that 100, 150 grams of carbs that you consume that day within 24 hours, let's say, guess what happens? You just added another 100 and 150 the next 24 hours, and then another 100 and 150 the next 24 hours, and your body only holds on to that extra fuel for so long. And within probably 48 to 72 hours, that fuel has been moved. Now, I call this short-term parking versus long-term parking. Short-term parking is when it's in the muscles and it's ready to be expended. Right? You just go out for a nice long walk, you pick up the pace, you get your heart rate up there, you're gonna burn those darn calories, you're gonna burn those carbs. I just imagine in my mind, snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies right there. Never eat the stuff, but I imagine that's what I'm doing when I think, hey, we indulged last night. It's okay. I'm getting up this morning, I'm hitting the spinning bike. And now I'll go out for a fast-paced walk and I'll get my heart rate up and I think snap, crackle, pop, all that energy is being burned. Bam, gone. That's what you want. But if you don't do that, it's got to go somewhere. And guess where it goes? Long-term parking. Long-term parking, my friends, are called love handles. They're called saddlebags. They're called a little pudge in the tum, right? They become all over the place. They store in fat cells. So you take all that extra energy, and if it's not burned within that 24, 48, 72 hours, bam, it goes. Long-term parking. It gets stored there. That's why it's hard to burn. It gets hard to burn when it's in long-term parking. It's easy to burn when it's in short-term parking. So when you start dropping the carbs, I'm going to say if you really want to do this right, you want to do low carb kind of, even keto-ish, you get to under 50 grams of carbs a day. But low carb would be under 50. That would be enough to get you in a keto state if you wanted to. Now, let me explain. Now what's happening is the body's burning through all the reserves in the muscles, right? It's got to burn through that first. Then it starts burning long-term parking. Well, that could take a week to 2 weeks, but it starts to happen within days because you got to burn through the reserves first. That's why you stick with this, my friends. Stick with it. Because if you stick with this for the 21 days, you're going to see results because you already had to burn through short-term parking. Then you burn through long-term parking. Then you burn, you're starting to burn the extra, like the fat that that's been there a long time. And you'll see such good results if you think of it this way. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. This is a great metaphor for you. You can do this. I know you can. I'm here to support you. If I haven't already told you, I have a group on Facebook. It's probably in the email I sent you. It's Coach Rosa, Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. Join me on Facebook. It's free. It's a free group. It doesn't, of course, there's no, but there is paid programming on Facebook nowadays, now that I think about it. But I'd love to have you join me, ask me questions. I'm here to support you. I really am. I love being part of your journey. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow for our last coaching session together. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and burn that short-term parking today, and also get it right into that long-term parking. Take care.